It was the middle of June when the sweltering South Texas heat pressed down on Bexar County. The air was thick, and life on Pleasanton Road moved at a steady, unremarkable pace. No one suspected that inside one of the modest trailer homes, something horrific had already taken place. Charles Angela Byrd, a 49-year-old plumber known for his quiet demeanor and hard work, had lived on this stretch of Pleasanton Road for years. He was married to Angela Byrd, 44, a woman neighbors described as warm and reserved. They mostly kept to themselves, though they were not unfriendly. From the outside, nothing seemed particularly off. Until the smell started. Over the next 4 weeks, neighbors noticed an overwhelming odor seeping from the Byrd property. Charles would make excuses. "It's the septic tank," he told one. "Probably a dead animal under the trailer," he said to another. But inside, something much darker was concealed: Angela's decomposing body, wrapped in layers of plastic, blankets, and carpet, secured with ratchet straps, and hidden in the same trailer where Charles continued to live. According to the affidavit later filed by Bexar County Sheriff's deputies, the fatal confrontation occurred around June 16th. Charles told investigators he had confronted Angela about a suspected affair. The argument escalated until Charles, in a moment of explosive rage, strangled her with one hand while she sat in a chair. He bit her face, drawing blood. Then he watched her die. He didn't call for help, didn't try to revive her. Instead, he stood there watching her body go still. And in his words later to investigators, he described this killing with a chilling phrase: "Go big or go home." It was, he said, his first crime. For more than a month, Charles Byrd continued his life while his wife's body rotted in the trailer. He went to work for the Floresville Independent School District, where he'd served as a master plumber since 2021. He cleaned around the house, masking the stench with bleach and household cleaners. He made up stories for why Angela hadn't been seen. She'd left, he said. She ran off with someone else. Angela's son, Jared, grew suspicious. He hadn't seen his mother since Father's Day weekend. Charles deflected and stonewalled, but the smell, unmistakably the scent of decay, lingered. On July 19th, Jared and his girlfriend arrived at the property and confronted Charles. The stench was overpowering. They demanded to know where Angela was. Charles told them she had left. But that night, unable to carry the lie any longer, he admitted the truth. "I killed her," he told Jared. Stunned and terrified, Jared left the house immediately and called 911 from a nearby Whataburger. Sheriff's deputies responded, and what they discovered shocked even seasoned investigators. Inside the trailer, deputies found the source of the smell. Angela's body had been wrapped meticulously, sealed tightly, and stored in a corner. Her remains were in an advanced stage of decomposition. X-ray imaging confirmed the presence of human remains, and the medical examiner's office later determined the cause of death as homicidal violence, likely asphyxia. Outside, the neighborhood was sealed off. Deputies and forensic investigators worked through the night. They found blood-stained blankets, industrial-strength cleaners, garbage bags, and even bodily fluids that had seeped into or been used at Charles's job site. The evidence was overwhelming. Charles fled when deputies first arrived, sparking a short-lived manhunt. SWAT teams combed the surrounding area. Eventually, he was located in a second trailer on the same property, less than a mile away. When deputies arrested him, he offered no resistance. To the cameras, he said, "I'm so sorry. I loved my wife. I had a mental break." But for investigators, it was the calmness in his demeanor and the haunting phrase, "Go big or go home," that stuck with them. Charles Byrd was initially charged with tampering with a human corpse, but the charge was quickly upgraded to murder. His bond was set at $650,000. Investigators also learned that he had told an acquaintance he might kill again. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was a deliberate, calculated concealment of a murder that shook the local community. His employer, the Floresville ISD, confirmed that Charles had no contact with students but was placed on immediate leave pending the outcome of the investigation. While Charles had no prior criminal record, investigators and family members have begun piecing together a darker narrative. Domestic violence is notoriously underreported. Sheriff Javier Salazar noted that over half of Bexar County's homicides stem from domestic disputes. Angela's friends described her as someone who kept her problems private. She rarely spoke about issues at home, though in hindsight, they say there were signs, mood swings, distant behavior, and bruises she could never fully explain. Jared, now the key witness in the case, is left reeling. His confrontation helped reveal the truth, but it also brought irreversible trauma. Losing a mother is devastating. Discovering your father is her killer is unfathomable. He and other family members have stayed out of the public eye, asking for privacy as they process the horrors revealed inside that trailer. Charles Byrd's defense team has hinted at possible mental health issues. He claims a mental break drove him to commit the crime. A psychiatric evaluation is underway to determine his competency to stand trial. Legal experts suggest the brutality and concealment will weigh heavily against him in court. If convicted of murder, he faces life in prison. Prosecutors have not indicated whether they will seek the death penalty. This is more than a murder story. It's a story about the hidden epidemic of domestic violence, about silence and suffering, and about how those closest to us can sometimes pose the greatest danger. Angela Byrd will be remembered not for the way she died, but for the life she lived in the shadows of fear. Her death is a reminder that domestic violence doesn't always leave visible scars, and that sometimes the most dangerous threats live right inside our homes.